rings of power, and we did lose internet. I certainly fared much better than most, in that we had very little flooding. Doesn't look like my live stream is going through though. Yep. Yeah, there it goes. All right. It is working. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Had my a little delay. Just wanted to make sure we had no technical difficulties because we do have at least a partial internet restoration. My bandwidth isn't exactly what it should be, but they're still bringing everybody in Orlando up right now. So that's good. And we have some awesome Star Wars Legion news to talk about as well. So if you are joining us, if you're going to hang out, I figured this would be a great way to kind of bring the channel back online officially with just doing a live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a while. Well, we did a little one when we had lost internet, but I haven't actually sat down and done a good kind of Q&A, hangout, live stream, and it's on a weekend. You know, I don't normally do these on Saturdays, but we can do it. Let's have some fun because this is pretty interesting. So we're going to talk about this. I know some people had questions on how things were going, if we had any damage over here, and personally, we were pretty lucky. We only had a few leaks, a few like windows had some, like the rain was coming in sideways for a while, so we had a little bit of leakage, but nothing major. And I know a lot of people are doing much worse. So I'm very fortunate. I got to do a little painting, got to work on some painting. And that's always something you do when the internet's out, right? That's one of the great things about these hobbies, and because it keeps you tethered. You don't realize how many devices in your home require and use the internet until the internet is out, and you can't do things like can't like turn on your lights or whatever. You know, like this. I heard a story about somebody who had a new, more modern home that didn't have light switches. It just had everything like it was a smart home, and the problem is when the power went out and then came back on, but the internet wasn't out, the lights got stuck in on mode and couldn't be turned off. So good luck trying to sleep with your lights at full blast on maximum power. But that wasn't the case with us. So, but yeah. So we're good to go here. I got internet restored, and we can get back on track with doing videos, and we're going to be doing that. But the first thing, as I was trying to catch up on anything that I had missed out on, is that this little image has been floating around for a while. So all you Star Wars Legion folks, we're going to talk about Grogu today because we have seen limited edition miniatures before. This is nothing new. That's why we should limit how much we rely on any one technology. Yeah. What's going on? CY Kenny says, yo, hope you're good in the hurricane. Yeah, I'm good because I'm out of the hurricane now. But yeah, I think you want to, technology is important, but yeah, you have to, obviously there are limits on what you want to, how much you want to put into it, because you always have to take into consideration that this could go away. this could go, and probably not permanently, but it could. And that's something you have to think about. Also think about where you live too, and the likelihood of some of these things happening too. But that's one of the reasons why I love tabletop gaming and board gaming, because if everything goes away, I'm still going to have those. I mean, theoretically. Obviously, if it's like a tornado or whatever, it could take everything away physically, but that's the case with anything. But even if all technology goes away, we still have board games, tabletop games to play, and that's a really cool thing. So Grogu looks to be getting a limited edition miniature, and this is the same sort of box that we've seen before for things like the recent Commander Luke Skywalker, the limited edition Luke that went to stores. It has been speculated that this is going to be something kind of along those lines, but this one is different for a number of reasons. First off, there are some thoughts that this might be not an everywhere thing. This might be exclusive to Europe or possibly the UK. That remains to be seen. I think we're gonna have to wait until there's more information. Of course, you can always ask your FLGSs, your local stores, if they have any leads on getting a limited edition Grogu in stock. Now, the last time these came out with the Commander Luke, there was a lot of different leverage on which way they could go. Like basically, some stores gave them out for free with purchase. Some stores sold them kind of cheap. Some stores used them as prize support. Some stores sold them for like high prices. I think there's some went for like over 100 bucks. I think some went for over 150. So yeah, that is going to be really interesting to see how that works. But the other thing that makes this one particularly interesting is that this is not a miniature that you can run on its own. This is just a counterpart miniature. That'd be like getting a limited edition C-3PO. You can only run it with R2. In this case, you can only run him with one of two characters. You can run him with Din Djarin, and he comes with Din Djarin, or you can run him with IG-11. And I think the cool thing about having a limited edition Grogu might be, at least in one case, that perhaps there's somebody out there that doesn't want to get Din Djarin, but they do want IG-11 with Grogu. This is possibly an answer for that. I don't know. And there's a whole lot we don't know about this one, and I'm really curious about to learn more about this particular pack for a couple of other reasons. Another reason is that Grogu is particularly small. Right, he's tiny. I think they said he's the smallest miniature they've ever done, and I think they did say he's just one piece, So not even like a sprue. It's just one little piece, probably about the size of a surge token or smaller. So how much can you really do for a limited edition version of that? Something so very, very tiny, smaller than most characters' boots. So what can you do about that? Well, I think the answer, the artwork here on the front gives us some indication. This looks to be a scene from Mandalorian Season 1, the finale, where the big flamethrower guy's shooting the flame in there, and Grogu's like, I will hold back the flames with the Force. It might be related to the hand thing, card as well, because it is kind of reflective of what that card wants it to be, where he's kind of deflecting everything back at the stormtrooper. And so I feel like if from this angle, this is just a screen grab of Mando Season 1, but like this might be what they what's going to make this sculpt so limited edition, right? If it's just this little teeny tiny guy, people might not care. But if you have him doing this massive flourish, and if you have this amazing flame plume, like on the base, then I think you can. I think you can come up with like a really cool way of having him. Again, I can't wait to see what the sculpt looks like. I think it's going to be more about the explosion rather than just Grogu himself, because he's pretty little, and I imagine he's going to be kind of doing this thing here, kind of deflecting a giant, fireball or laser blast or whatever. It's a little ambiguous as to what exactly he's deflecting here. It's some kind of energy attack of some sort that he's throwing back to kind of mirror his card, his command card, and also the scene from Mando Season 1. But yeah. They may have announced it on stream. I haven't seen it on stream yet, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Not having internet for a few days kind of puts things behind, but I still think it's really cool. I don't know where this is going to be coming through. I don't know if they've announced it on stream. Everything I've seen so far is just that it's unconfirmed yet, but it's kind of confirmed. But they have been doing the hobby kits. The problem with like a lot of their hobby kits, those also involve like a terrain piece. So like kind of like the things that they're doing with Marvel Crisis Protocol, where like Wolverine and Sabretooth are getting another version, and they did it with Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus. Like they do a diorama piece, and then the two special miniatures with that. But this doesn't look like... I mean, maybe this will have a diorama piece with it. That could be the case. And that kind of leads me to the next point, is if it's some kind of diorama piece, if it's more than just the one little miniature, if it is reflective of this scene where he's shooting back to Flame Trooper, maybe we're getting this guy. Maybe we're getting him. I mean, probably not in the same pack, because I think they would name it something more than that. But I think these guys, these incinerator troopers, should definitely be showing up in Star Wars Legion, and I think here's a case where you get a single trooper by themselves. Operative, maybe generic operative or generic special forces, just a single miniature. I think that's definitely a possible. Joseph asks, could it be maybe a resin figurine instead of plastic? Yeah, it certainly could be. This dude, I mean, they did the Vader in resin, right? The limited edition Vader, and I believe the limited edition Obi-Wan Kenobi in resin. Now, those were convention exclusives. This one doesn't say convention exclusive. This one just says limited edition miniature. So that leads me to think we're not getting a whole diorama with this piece. This is just probably a single miniature with kind of probably a fancy base and some fancy effects on the miniature. So a big flourish of, fire, blasting away and stuff like that. There could be a lot of, big billowy, effects and things like that. And if there aren't, you can certainly add those in with some like resin, or I've seen people do like cotton balls, or there's all kinds of different explosive effects, and the AMG likes to do a lot of big explosions and things like that to fancy up a miniature. And sometimes it's really cool. Sometimes I'm not such a big fan of how it's been done. Like, I think Rogue from Marvel Crisis Protocol is kind of an example of like when it's too much. Like they just put like explosion. It's so much of an explosion, and they even have like explosion like dripping off of her at some point. I'm like, why is the explosion's blasting up, but then she's got a part where it's like it looks like it's water and it's dripping off of her. It's street. You've been hearing that this is fan made and it is fake. Is there news from AMG? It could be. It doesn't look like it. I could really see them doing this, and it seems believable to me. Maybe it is fake. I don't think it's fake though. I don't think it's fake. I think Grogu is a great way. Like, limited edition stuff is a great way to get stuff to retailers and give retailers some extra support. Like, hey, get people in stores. I think they have had a change of pace over the last couple of years, when like once upon a time there were this big incentive to get people to order from the Asmodee store, but now I feel like they have a bigger push to get people to order from their local stores. I don't know exactly why, but I feel like when you pre-order and they ship pre-orders last, they don't really care if people pre-order. Like, there's like zero incentive to pre-order from Asmodee.com, because all of the stores get product before pre-orders even ship in a lot of cases. Definitely before pre-orders show up. So I don't know why. And plus, you're paying full price for pre-order. I mean, you get free shipping if it's a pre-order generally, but they give you free shipping on like orders of a certain size anyway. So I don't know if that's really, you don't have to pay shipping at your local store anyhow. And usually local stores will have deals or incentives or sales, or like, oh, you buy, you get punch cards, and plus you play at the store, and people generally want to support the store that they play at. So this is just I think a great way to kind of reward stores for like give stores more things, and they've been trying to do a lot more OP kits and things like that, things that are going directly to the stores. There's just been such a focus on in-store play. That this just seems very feasible. Like, they had a lot of like the limited edition Luke was like a lot better done. The limited edition Vader and Obi-Wan were problematic. They didn't make enough of them, and so that's why the Vaders go for thousands of dollars now and stuff like that, because it was a complete misjudgment, on how many they needed to have versus how many people wanted them. And so when they got to the Luke Skywalkers, they made a ton more, and it's a lot better. Because most people who want it can get it. Now, they did even better than that one time with the X-Wing limited edition. I think it was during the pandemic, what was supposed to be that first 2020 Gen Con, they just let people order them online. And so I had gotten it was one of the Chrome Naboo fighters. Maybe this one will be an online thing. I don't know for sure. If it's a fake, it's a really good one. Yeah, it does look pretty genuine. The only thing is, like, now I distorted it because it was on an angle a little bit, but this bottom line here doesn't look like it's completely straight. But then again, I did kind of distort it because it was taken from like a top down, so it was already on an angle. So I tried to stretch it out to kind of make it look a little bit more normal. So it's a good fake if so, and that the art looks pretty good, the fonts and all that stuff. It does look good. So I guess we'll have to see. Kaz says, I hope it's real. Really want a unique mini for a regular price. Yeah, I mean, and even if it's not, I'm sure there's going to be people who will look at how many aftermarket companies are making, the 3D printed, alternate pose figures, and you want this character to look like that, or people want their Leia for Episode 4, or they want like a comic book version of this character or whatever. So many people are customizing and doing all kinds of fancy stuff. If this ends up not being an actual AMG product, or it ends up not coming out, there's nothing stopping from some company from kind of doing a version of Grogu that's like this. There's probably, I bet you if I Googled it, there's probably already a version, something like this, that exists right now. Let's see. Actor Williams Rodriguez says, do you believe in 5 to 10 years from now that Legion will have a huge miniature gallery like Warhammer 40K? I believe that is definitely possible. A lot of things are potentially up for change next year, because next year there's supposedly some kind of a big decision point with Lucasfilm and AMG, and if they're because they have to renew contracts and stuff, and since there was a big shakeup there, I think there's a lot of unknowns of what are going to happen next year. But I think if everything goes smooth, which perhaps it will, then yeah, I think Legion is definitely on track to continue to get new stuff. I think the only thing holding it back from doing stuff that GW does with 40K is the fact that it's a licensed game, and they have to get approval from Lucasfilm to make anything. They have to get approval from Lucasfilm to do an awful lot of stuff. And so, if you look at all the stuff that GW does, they just come out with new stuff all the time. Imagine if AMG had that kind of flexibility with Star Wars, and Lucasfilm said, hey, AMG, you guys can make whatever you want. And we mean whatever you want. If you want to make it, you make it. Even if you decide you want Star Trek characters in Star Wars Legion, fine, go for it. If you decide you want to make aliens with elephant ears and trunks on their nose and then an extra trunk on their forehead and give them lightsabers, and maybe they have Wookiees riding on their backs, and they ride dinosaurs, that's now Star Wars. Go for it, man. It's all Star Wars Legion. We don't have to canonize it. You just make whatever you want and put it in Star Wars Legion. If you want to invent an entire new faction, go for it. If you want to create a whole new side of the Jedi, let's say you want to do a what was the dude in the middle in Star Wars Rebels, the Bendu. Let's say you want to have an entire new faction of Bendu middle force users that are like true neutral, like these druids and stuff like that. If you want to invent all of that and just create it for Star Wars Legion, go for it. You have free reign to make whatever you want, and we'd see a lot more of Star Wars Legion if that were the case. That's actually really cool. It's cool thinking about that, right? Because that's what GW has, because it's their own property. They can make whatever they want. They just have to say, hey, do we want to do this? Yes, we do. Okay, let's do it. And that's why they're able to just come up with new units all the time and new editions of the game all the time and entire new games. I mean, they have 40K, they have 30K, which is Horus Heresy. They have Age of Sigmar. They have Warcry, which is still kind of Age of Sigmar. And then they have all these other games, and that's why they're branching out. That's why they're teaming up with Magic the Gathering right now. They have these new Commander decks for 40K and stuff like that. So there's, GW can do whatever they want with their stuff. AMG can't. So what I feel like is if AMG were to make a miniature game that had their own IP, that had an Asmodee IP. So if they did a Twilight Imperium game, if they did Descent, a Terranoth themed game, well, I mean, they already had something like that with Rune Wars miniatures game, but if they did something like that where they could have, if Rune Wars had kept going, for example, they'd be able to do everything and anything they wanted to do, then you'd have a lot more flexibility. So I guess that's a really long answer to a short question, but I feel like the IP itself does kind of put a limiter on stuff. Now, it's not a big limiter, because on the other side of that coin is Disney Plus. We are getting new stuff all the time that is perfect for Star Wars Legion. We have the Andor show right now. Perfect for Star Wars Legion. We had Obi-Wan Kenobi. Lots of good stuff for Star Wars Legion. We have The Bad Batch. Perfect for Star Wars Legion. We had Clone Wars Season 7. Perfect for Star Wars Legion. You know, we had Star Wars Rebels. Perfect for Star Wars Legion. All of this stuff is perfect for Star Wars Legion. And there's a lot of stuff available. However, they don't make these shows with Star Wars Legion in mind. They make these shows with Star Wars in mind. So it's up to AMG and Star Wars Legion to find, you know, the balance and the gameplay mechanics and stuff within the show, because the show's not doing that for them. And so that's, I think, a definite challenge that they have. And it was a challenge that any of us would have, because not only do you have to say, okay, you know, like, I bet you that when Legion was under Fantasy Flight Games and they did Sabine for the first time, they would have loved to have just done the entire Ghost crew, but maybe that wouldn't have fit with the game as it was right then. Because, like, maybe if you had Kanan and Ezra also joining the game for the Rebels, and you didn't have Inquisitors yet, or whatever, maybe you couldn't get approval. Maybe Lucasfilm. Here's a hypothetical. Maybe they said, hey, Lucasfilm, we want to do a whole Star Wars Rebels wave. We want to do Inquisitors. And Lucasfilm says, no, can't do it yet. And they're like, crap. Well, what can we do? It's like, you can do Sabine. That's it. We got plans for everybody else. You know? And, you know, or whatever reason, Sabine was the only one that worked out after everybody kind of had their back and forth. And maybe FFG doesn't know why they said no to Inquisitors. And maybe that's because Lucasfilm knew that they had more plans for Inquisitors, because at the time they still had Jedi Fallen Order, which had more information on Inquisitors, and then they still had a Jedi Fallen Order sequel possibility, and then they still had Kenobi, which had even more information on Inquisitors, and all of this fancy stuff that was going to give more information about Inquisitors. Right? Heck, if you go back far enough, Rebels Season 1, we thought there was only one Inquisitor. They just called him the Inquisitor. And then afterwards, we're like, wait a second, there's other Inquisitors? And then we come to find out, oh, his name was the Grand Inquisitor. So they couldn't have done what they wanted to do right away. So again, it's harder on Asmodee as a whole to get the approval from Lucasfilm to do all the stuff they want to do, because Lucasfilm knows what's coming. They don't always let everything happen at the same time. It's why we don't have Din Djarin in our hands already, even though Mandalorian is getting ready to have Season 3, right? That's why we don't have him yet. And that's why he's not going to use the Darksaber. There's incredible lead time on this kind of stuff. So, yeah. So, all right. So that was a lot. I have a lot more questions. If you guys left any questions, I'm going to try and get to a lot of them. So thank you guys for joining. And also, let me know in chat where everybody's from, and maybe we should do a giveaway. Maybe we should do a giveaway. Hold on a second. I have a cool giveaway I want to do. Let me see. I gotta find it. It's a Legion-based giveaway. Oh yes. We got Force Push. We got yes, we got some of these. Look at this. All right. Hold on. Do we have any foreign language, folks? Do we have any French-speaking viewers in channel? We got any French folks? Let me know if you speak French and you are in, or if you're watching from France, even better, or Quebec, or any French-speaking places. I'd love to hear from you guys in channel. But yes, so let me know about that. Same goes with Spanish. Do we have any Spanish-speaking folks in the stream? Let me know if you speak French, Spanish, or German. French, Spanish, or German folks, if we have them in the. I mean, I assume we also have English-speaking folks as well. But I'm looking at some Force Push things. German here, Juco. You're right. You're the first person I see to say German. I think this is German. Maktos, Force Push, German language edition. Force Push. alternate art. So if you speak Legion, congrats to Juco. You shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Let me know remind me what you won, the German language force push, and give me your shipping information, and I'll mail that out to you. I've got more stuff coming, so stand by. If you didn't win anything yet, I'm gonna do some more. I'm gonna do some more giveaways. I'll probably throw an English language force push in Discord too. So if you guys aren't already in Discord, we have a giveaways channel in there, and sometimes we do painting contests and stuff like that. I need to start another painting contest too. But don't forget, and if you're, I see some French speakers too, so stand by. We'll do some of that as well, and I'll probably do one up on Patreon as well. I'll do a force push on Patreon because I like to do extra giveaways for my patrons, just randomly. It's a nice way to thank patrons for helping the channel kind of keep going. But yes, all right. So if you guys just joined, this image has been floating around. I've seen everything from this is a fake to this is now going to be a store exclusive, just like the Luke Skywalker was, to this is going to be a UK exclusive, to this is going to be an online exclusive, to a European exclusive or an Australian exclusive. It's anybody's guess, but it hasn't been officially announced yet. I'm guessing that this is real because it looks pretty good. But and also just these leaks like this just tend to happen. Like, they happen all the time. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it's a cool idea anyway, because even if it ends up being fake, I still think it's something that they would do. They like doing alternate sculpts, and I bet you they probably aren't too thrilled with the way Grogu was, because he's just sitting there, right? And I'm sure they want to kind of do like a tactical rock version of Grogu, and so they probably want to have him with this massive, crazy Force Unleashed kind of effects, and this super flame, super fire, fire bloom effects kind of going all over the place. I think it's exciting. I think this is kind of what the miniature is going to look like a little bit. I think we're going to get this awesome, fire blast going on with it, and I think it's going to look really cool. And it's a fun way to kind of just to change up your miniature collection. The problem that the silly problem is, Hera. Shh. Sorry, my dog. Here's somebody. We got a little motion detected at your front door thing. Anytime somebody walks their dog in front of the house, she goes crazy. Anyway, these things happen when you watch live. But anything can happen when you watch live. As a matter of fact, even Mini Crab can happen when you watch live. That's right, folks. Mini Crab. We're back from the hurricane. We've got our internet back. That means Mini Crab is back as well. There he is, folks. Give it up for Mini Crab. Give it up for Mini Crab. He's making a very rare appearance during a live stream. Okay. All right. Anyway, so these are things that happen. All right. So anyway, yeah, I think that this is something that's going to happen. I think they like doing stuff like that. The problem, the good kind of problem, might be you might have too many Grogus. Too many Grogus. What do I mean by too many Grogus? Well, you're already getting 2 Grogu versions in the base model, in the base pack, right? Din Djarin, didn't they say that you're getting 2 Grogus? I mean, we haven't seen an unboxing yet. I do have it on pre-order, but we'll have to wait till next month. But yeah, it's so this is gonna be like you're gonna have 3 Grogus now. Like how many Grogus do you need? Are we gonna get a Grogu only battle force? What if the Empire did manage to get Grogu and started cloning him? Should we do more? More what ifs like they did What If for Marvel? Vegyetti says, I don't need alternate sculpts. Give us more characters. That's a fair request. I think AMG is more into miniatures. I think they put miniatures first and gameplay second. And so I think this is something more in line with something AMG would do. But they are still giving us more characters, though. It's not like it's got to be one or the other. They're doing both. I mean, for the most part, they are giving us more characters. This is the first alternate sculpt, if indeed This is an alternate sculpt that we've seen strictly out of AMG. I think the limited Luke Skywalker was like an FFG thing that AMG just pushed out across. So this would probably be the first AMG limited edition thing. So this is, it's just, I think it's just the very first instance of it. So I don't think it represents a problem with AMG not doing Star Wars miniatures. You know, that's my thoughts. JD Wingham says, I'm curious about the mini with the X-Wing set. I, too, am curious about the miniature with the X-Wing set. It's a pilot, and I wanted a whole unit of pilots. So is it just like just an objective, or is it a whole unit that you can use? Is it going to be a tournament legal unit? That's a big question, I think, in a lot of people's heads right now. It's definitely something that I am thinking about. Yeah, a lot of very interesting things to think about. Mud Troopers. Estevan Delgado wants Mud Troopers. Yes. Yes. Veggetti says, one Grogu is too many. I disagree with that, sir. But, to each his own. You certainly don't have to pick them up. But let's see. Let's see. I have to imagine Thrawn, Kaz says, I have to imagine Thrawn is the next big character. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know the name, you know he's coming back soon. I would have to imagine they would understand he would be huge. I think Thrawn is, agreed. I agreed 100%. Thrawn is huge, but he's known less for his ground battles. So I think they want to wait until we see him in the Ahsoka show. Because Thrawn is more of a Star Wars Armada character. He fits more, like, if you'll notice, Thrawn isn't even in X-Wing. He's not even in X-Wing. He is one of the most popular characters of all time, but he also lends himself perfectly towards a Star Wars Armada setting. He did, however, lead some ground forces. He does have the potential to show up in Star Wars Legion, and what I would love to see, if we're talking about limited editions, like, I'd love to see Thrawn in a recognizable pose, and I think they'll probably wait until we see him in Ahsoka, you know, in some setting. I mean, they could do him from Star Wars Rebels. That totally works. But I don't want him with that helmet he wore in Season 3 of Star Wars Rebels, like when he's on the ground during the siege of the Rebel base. I just don't want, like, he looks like Veers, right? And I don't want that version, because we already have Veers with that helmet on. I want Thrawn to have like a normal thing where he's like, maybe his hands are behind his back, or he's doing one of these, right? But I also want an alternate Thrawn where he's sitting on the throne, where he's sitting like, or he's sitting in his captain's chair, right? Like, I mean, I don't think they'll do it because you can't really have Thrawn sitting down in the middle of a battle of Star Wars Legion, but I still want it. Like, I almost like want an emperor on the Emperor's throne. Like, that would be perfect for Legion, but can you have him sitting down, right? You know, it's like, I don't think you can, you know? I almost think it's maybe better to do, like, the bridge. Actually, that'd be a really cool Star Wars Legion map, is if you did, like, a Star Destroyer bridge kind of battle. You could do that with some of the LV-427 stuff. By the way, LV-427 terrain has a new set coming out. You'll see a video from me very soon on that. Also, little product placement. I'd like to thank today's sponsor, and that is going to be Luxury Playstyle. If you guys haven't heard, I know you've heard me talk about them before. They have amazing Full Metal tokens. I actually helped collaborate on their designs. We got them double-sided. They're all double-sided. The damage tokens have a 2 on the back, and so they're really, really helpful. A lot less tokens you have to put out there. Suppression tokens have a 2 on the back, so when you're getting extra suppression, you just have to flip that token over instead of just piling up tokens. They're shiny. They're gorgeous. They're absolutely amazing. We also have order tokens in both red and blue, depending on what color preference you want to go for. Like all the aims, dodges, surges, and standbys are all double-sided too, so you have a different token on each side. So it's just amazing. They're going to make you want to play more. They're going to really impress everybody you're playing with. They make great gifts. We got holiday time coming up. They also make great prize support. Use code Crabbok VIP to save 15%. And while supplies last, orders that use that code that spend $35 or more are going to get a free Crabbok lightsaber nunchuck token. It's got the C on the front. Mark your commanders, for example. It's got the 5 on the back for damage intervals of 5 or more. Really great token. And you get that for free if you use that code on $35 orders or higher. Head over to luxuryplaystyle.com and you won't regret it. All right, guys. One other thing, again, we're talking about Grogu, that I want to talk about is this guy. I think he's going to show up in the game, and I want to see more stuff from Mandalorian. Well, like we already said, I think they've already talked about Imperial Remnant. We know Moff Gideon is coming. I think this guy is definitely a sure bet to show up sooner rather than later, and he represents an individual stormtrooper. We haven't seen one-off stormtroopers really in this game, and I want to see more of that. Like we see on-off clone troopers. We got the clone commander, for example. We got Rex or Cody is coming, but wonderful. Ever see Jabba the Hutt? Yeah, right. That'd be funny. But yes, I think a guy like this would make a really good operative or special forces, just a solo mini. I think that would work. I think it'd be really cool. And it wouldn't have to be a named character either. I think it would be a really cool to have an operative that's not unique. There's so many cool things like that they could do. This guy's perfect for it. He seems like he'd be really, really strong with that flamethrower. Like, really, really strong. So that's why I feel like maybe he should be not just be a heavy that goes into another unit. Right? I don't know, because like you already got a flamethrower in the snowtroopers. Maybe he should be his own thing. Maybe he's got a range 2 flamethrower. Maybe. That would be really cool. I'd love to see a range 2 flamethrower on this guy. You know, that'd be kind of gross. I mean, because he did kind of light up most of the bar from the outside, so I feel like that kind of could be range 2. I feel like it could be. And if he's going to be a whole operative all by himself, I think it works. But I want to hear what you guys think. Also, if you guys haven't already, check out the links in the description below, social media links, Crabbok.com. We've got the free Legion AI. How many of you guys have played the AI, by the way? That's another great thing you can do if you get hit by a hurricane and have no internet or anything to do. You can still set up all your Legion minis, test out a build, use the AI deck, play against the AI, and that's totally free. So you can head over to Crabbok.com and check that out. Frederick Thrawn is going to be at Spiel next Saturday. Wow, is that next Saturday? Wow, very cool. Very cool. I hope you have a fantastic time. That's one of those conventions that would be really great to go to. I don't see myself attending anytime soon, but that's that's on the bucket list for me. That's a really cool one. Yeah. Kaz says, to be fair, Thrawn has the same number of ground battles as Veers has. That's funny. Yeah. AJ says, how excited are you for Cody, Waxer, and Boyle? More excited for Cody, less excited for Waxer and Boyle. They don't seem as great. They seem decent, but not great. You know, I'm not sold on Waxer and Boyle just yet, but certainly they don't seem bad. I think they're going to be situational at best, and I think Cody is going to be a lot more good for a wider variety of lists. So he seems like he's going to fit in way more builds than I would fit Waxer and Boyle into. But I also haven't seen Cody's command cards. He might be 100%er. He could be an all-comers, type of character. I mean, you're going to kind of want a vehicle, at least one vehicle in lists with him. So that might be slightly limiting. Estevan says, will luxury playstyle make Armada tokens? I don't think they're making Armada tokens anytime soon. I think one of the things we have to think about, because I talk to luxury playstyle a lot, is if, I think they were waiting for AMG to kind of announce like a new Armada expansion or something like that. To have a little more. Not everybody is as sure of Armada's continued future as I am, so that I'll leave that as that. I remain quite optimistic. Hera, chill out. Ooh, goodness gracious. So, she does not like people walking their dogs out front. That's for sure. But let's see. What if they did another round of personal upgrade packs for him? For this guy, personnel? Yeah, I would love. we do need another round of personnel upgrade packs. We've seen the stormtrooper upgrade packs. We've seen like that everybody's first trooper core, right? Rebel troopers, stormtroopers, B1 battle droids, and Phase 1 clones. We've seen upgrade packs for all of those, as well as just regular personnel upgrade packs. We need the second core upgrade. We need Rebel fleet troopers. Fleet troopers need an upgrade. Snow troopers need an upgrade. You know, and I get it that like snow troopers kind of got a little bit of help with, with Blizzard Force, but they need their own upgrade. Upgrade units. I love snow troopers, and I would use them even without. I have used them even without Blizzard Force. So I want to have a little more versatility. I mean, granted, I'm totally happy just running the Flame Trooper all the time because it's a good miniature to add. But I'd like to have some extra options for them. Also for the personnel slot option as well, not just the heavy weapon. Do you think they will release a 212th Battle Force like how they did for the 501st? I think that is definitely possible. Although I feel like it's just a feeling. I think that while that's definitely possible, I also feel like a wolf pack is. I don't know if it's coming first because we don't have wolf and we don't even have. I mean, we have Plo Koon kind of as just an upgrade card, but we don't have like a Plo Koon command. You know, we don't have Plo Koon all by himself. So like I feel like Wolfpack is the first one that I would like to see, or at least the next one that I would like to see. But I guess we'll have to see. I guess we'll have to wait. You know, I always love that scene when Wolf is like, "I don't think anybody's coming for us. We're expendable," and he goes, "Not to me," you know, or whatever. I can't do his voice. "Not to me," you know. I'm like, I love that, dude. Plo Koon is awesome. So yeah. NWO Wolfpack? No, not that Wolfpack. Yeah, but that's a good one too. We'll get Kevin Nash, and kind of as a commander, and Scott Hall as the other commander. Yeah. All right, too sweet. Yeah, yeah. Oh man. All right, so. AJ Smithy says, I would love to see Bly and his clones. I think they look so cool and unique to the other clones. Yeah, that's is Bly the dudes that were with Yoda, the Kashyyyk dudes, the green clones? I think that's Bly. If sometimes I get a little confused, but that would be kind of a cool look. We kind of got a little bit of that with the if that's who I'm thinking of, with the the swamp speeders. Oh, they're yellow. Okay, I'll have to look up Bly a little bit. I have to rewatch Clone Wars. I've watched the first couple of seasons a couple of times, but I missed like the last couple. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap things up. I'm just going to summarize again for everybody who missed out. We do have Grogu art kind of going around. There's a box that's out there somewhere. A lot of people are saying it's going to be an exclusive, like it does say limited edition miniature, whether it's going to be stores or whether it's going to be Europe only, whether it's going to be worldwide or if an online exclusive or convention. It doesn't say convention exclusive, or whether or not it's a fake altogether. We'll have to wait and see, but I do expect it's going to be an interesting one because I don't think it comes with Din Djarin, right? So you're getting like half of an expansion. That was Gree. Oh yeah, that's right. That was Gree. That was the clone with the green that I was thinking of. Gree for green, right? Without the N. Oh yeah. I'll get all these guys mixed up. Maybe he's a Sith Grogu. That would be kind of cool to paint a Sith Grogu, like make him kind of like dark gray with red eyes. Like somebody should do that. I know he might be too small to really see it, but yeah. Joshua. It says Sith Grogu gets his own Star Destroyer for Star Wars Armada. You heard it here first. Yeah. Bly is the one who kills Aayla Secura. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's... Gosh, what was it? I think it was Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original Star Wars Battlefront games, when you're playing through the campaign and like he's explaining like how hard it was for them to kill her. Like it was kind of emotional, Yeah. So Hugo says it's being released as part of the Asmodee Hobby Next program. Yeah, we'll have to look more into that. I don't know. I haven't heard them say that yet. But then again, I am just back from the hurricane. I've missed out on some internet, and so there's more catching up to do. But as new information comes out, I'll be bringing it to you guys. I think that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Before we wrap up, we did have a couple of folks that also said they were watching from France. Nicholas Blanc is watching from Quebec. If you're still watching, Nicholas, shoot me an email. I'll hook you up with a French force push. Just make sure you email me, mailcrabbok@gmail.com, and tell me what you won. Because if you just say, hey, here's my address, I'm going to forget what I told you were getting, and you might not get anything. Because it's like sometimes people just email me baloney. So, but yes, and I want to put the English language version up in Discord. We've got English language force push. An extra one of these will also go up on Patreon. So if you guys didn't win, don't worry. We've got giveaways. We got giveaways going on all the time. I do this stuff. So we have a giveaways channel on Discord. And of course, that's not the only reason I would like you to join. We have discussions. We're family friendly. We talk about all these Star Wars games, and it's a great way to kind of interact and keep questions going, and learn more. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys help make this channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. This is the way. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Always